Hello, everybody. We are live, and it is not Wednesday. I am not going live on Wednesday evenings anymore. It is summertime, and I now have a family dinner with my family on Wednesday nights. We are doing that with a yacht club that we are a part of. So we wanted to make sure we, have that family time and that community time, and we are going live on a new evening. So it is Thursday at 5:00, which was the vote by some in the autism community. And so we have changed our live for a few weeks while, we're enjoying our summer. So hello. I'm Kathy Flynn. For those of you who are still unsure of my name or are just seeing me for the first time, I am coming in to you from the Autistic and Thriving Facebook group, the Autistic and Thriving Facebook page, as well as the Autistic and Thriving community on YouTube, and the autism community, another Facebook group that I am an expert in. I go live every week or almost every week to answer questions of those who have any questions related to autism. I've been an expert in the field. I've been a special ed teacher in the field with autistic children and their families for the last 13 years. I've worked with babies as young as 16 months and as old as 21. And I currently work for New York City Public Schools as a special ed teacher. I'm also taking my expertise online, going live, answering people's questions, helping people with their problems, offering my programs so that we can really tackle inappropriate behavior that might be happening at home or in school, as well as working on increasing communication, effective and functional communication, and increasing compliance. So I don't have anyone in right now. I'm going to stay on for a little bit and chat while I wait for people to come in. Just wanted to make sure. Trying to just make sure. Ask if also, okay, I'm not sure why. I don't know if I can change that. Okay. Oh, I have someone watching. Let me know when where you're coming in from. If when you come in, jump into the live, tell me your name, tell me where you're coming in from. Let me know if you have a question. So I have been connecting with a lot of families over the last couple weeks, and I'm putting some posts out on Facebook, in the groups and on my page, asking anyone if they have any real challenges going on at home. Sorry if you can hear my dog barking. She's been barking like crazy lately. We've been trying to stay outside a lot, and she keeps barking at the other dog. Well, there's not even a dog back there, but she's barking at something beyond the fence. Anyway, I apologize. So, I've been asking in posts, if anyone's having truly challenging behaviors at home that they're dealing with. It's really, really difficult to analyze behavior if you do not have the expertise with autistic children. As I do as a behavior specialist, I can really dive deep with families, trying to learn exactly what's happening with the behavior. And even just from a simple conversation, trying to pinpoint what is causing that behavior, because depending on the cause of the behavior, we will have to do different strategies to get rid of that behavior. So there's a couple things that happen with behavior. Number one, we kind of need to look for patterns. Okay. We need to look for like around the time of day that behavior is happening. And what are the circumstances regarding, when it happens. Is your child looking for something? Is your child, getting denied access from something? Is something, no longer available and your child is very upset? So that's like, looking for a tangible item. That's a very, very popular reason why children get aggressive or have inappropriate behaviors, because, they just want what they want when they want it, and they will get very upset and maybe even get aggressive when they're not getting what they want. So, of course, we don't want to give in to them. We never want to give in to a child, autistic child, especially if they're aggressive or screaming or crying or dropping to the floor or throwing things or any of the, behaviors that I've experienced and I've heard many, many other parents and teachers experience as well. We don't want to give in to these behaviors. We want to teach your child to be compliant, to follow directions. If it's a simple routine at home, or even if it's a direction in the classroom, we want your child to follow directions and sit at the table and learn skills and be able to take breaks and be able to stim and do the things that they love to do, but also understand that there's a contingency and they're not going to get everything they want at every moment. It's just not reality, right? So we want to make sure that we are working on strategies to get your child to understand the contingency, that yes, they can ask for what they want, and yes, they should ask for what they want. Hi, Tristan. Nice to see you coming in you have Asperger's. Okay. Totally cool. Let me know if you're willing to share your age, you can let me know how old you are and like kind of what you're doing with your time. And if you are working, let me know, Tristan, if you have any questions for me, or if you're curious about anything that I might be able to help you with or answer. I have 2 people watching. Let's see. Oh, nice. I have someone from YouTube and someone coming over from the Facebook group. Oh, you'd rather not. Okay, Tristan, that's fine. You don't need to share that. That's fine. If you have a question, you can ask me. I love to talk to adults on the spectrum as well to kind of get their perspective. So if, Tristan, you have any insight on behavior or stimming or any of those things, you're willing to share, feel free. But it's good to see someone new coming over from the Autistic and Thriving YouTube channel. So we have a few people coming in from my other channels. No one's coming in from the autism community. Hopefully, people are seeing the live stream come through. So anyway, it is very, very important that we set up specific strategies, and we usually do very, very simple contingency plans. So if your child's not willing to, let's say, pick up his shoes, you can use one of his favorite reinforcing activities and promise that after he follows the direction. So here I have, your bouncy ball, go pick up shoes, first shoes, then ball. And you can try to set up, very simple contingency plans. And honestly, your child may not, still want to comply. That maybe the ball's not a strong enough reinforcer. So if your behavior is not changing, then you need to look at the things that you're using that your child loves. All of these things are called reinforcers, and they're in our arsenal. Every teacher who works with autistic children uses reinforcement. So reinforcement is using your child's favorite things to motivate them. And they could be your child's favorite snacks. They could also be your child's favorite toys or even activities. When we set up the willingness to follow a direction, your child may be like, yep, see you later. I'm not doing that, and run for the hills, or just ignore you completely. And, they may understand exactly what you're saying. They just are choosing to ignore you. I have so many parents who say, well, I don't know if he really knows what I'm telling him, that could be true, but it also could be that, your child just is choosing to ignore you and does understand what he or she wants you to do, especially if you're showing him or her and you're modeling what to do. Being a good visual model is important. Physically prompting your child, even if it's just guiding their hand, guiding their body. If you just slightly, gently push them towards where they need to go, or even help them use their hand to bend down and pick something up. When we give a direction, let's say it's something as simple as picking up a toy. I keep using that as a reference, but it could really be anything. And your child is not listening, then you want to physically prompt them, because you want to teach them, I give a direction, I need you to follow. I need you to follow that direction, because, it's just not a choice to ignore what I'm saying. There's a responsibility to follow a direction that someone has for them, whether, as they're growing as a child, even as an adult. If they want to have a job, typically they have to follow specific types of directions for, completing that job, right? So we need to be able to live in a society where we follow rules and directions. And even if that rule is like an embedded rule, like, going to a register to pay for your groceries before you leave the store, right? So all these different things, is so important that we start young and teach our children to follow directions, because it leads us all the way through life. So the way we do that is we don't let them ignore us. We physically prompt them so that they can, realize, oh, I can't just run away. Oh, I can't just ignore her. This is what it, and then you say to them, this is what picking up your toy looks like. Good job picking up your toy. And you're literally like maybe even, bending them over to and hand over hand to try to pick that toy up, so that they know that they really kind of have no choice. They have to follow the direction. And once the direction is followed, you're praising them for good job. Thank you for picking up your toy, and now you can have, and you can give over an M&M, or you can give over a different toy, something that they were, motivated by, even though you had to help them. And then over time, we fade those prompts so that, we don't have children being prompt dependent and needing us to help them follow a direction. We want to fade those prompts so that when you give the direction, your child just does it. And usually you have a reinforcer at the end. Great work picking up your toys. Here, now you can go do this, or now you can have, whatever. And so you want to use your child's favorite things. Hi, we've been having internet issues where I live. We are back. Hi, Marissa. It's okay. No problem. I've been out for a little bit already. I was just talking about reinforcement and, being able to decrease behaviors at home, and kind of like how you start to navigate, what to do for different behaviors. So we were using a tangible item as an example for behaviors that might happen. And we were using following directions and how to prompt to follow that direction as an example of picking up a toy. Marissa, let me know how things are going with you and your little guy. I know it's been a busy summer so far, and you've been working on different things. Let me know how things are going. And if you have any specific questions, let's see. I don't have too many people on or too many people asking questions. Let's see what else we can talk about. It's really important also with behavior to be able to not only have your child follow specific directions, but also, be able to follow daily routines and be able to, at things that happen every day, like being able to get dressed, without a big, huge fight, being able to put on their shoes, without a fight, or being able to go out to the car when it's time to go somewhere. Your child may be, oh, it's okay. What? Okay, bye. So it's important. Sorry, my son is leaving to go to his appointment with my husband. So he was just saying goodbye to me. Just threw me off for a second. So it's very important that, we also practice these daily routines, because, you don't want to have resistance with the, with the day-to-day things. And it's important to prompt your child through those things and really have a high rewarding, promising reinforcement at the end of that procedure. Because if that procedure is a lot of work for your child, and that's why he or she is screaming, he or she is resistant because, they don't want to stop doing what they like to do, if that's watching a YouTube video, or if that's stimming over in the corner with a piece of string, whatever your child's doing, and you're interrupting that, routine for them to go somewhere, let's say, or to get ready for bed, or to eat a meal, or to, go out into the community, then your child could get resistant, because you're stopping a preferred activity. but you want to make those smoother transitions, right? So we want to work on with your child and give them a little bit of a warning. One thing you could do is give your child a warning before the transition happens, so that he or she knows it's coming. It's not a surprise. You can even use a visual timer. They sell visual timers on Amazon. It has like a red block to it, and then the red can run out as the time runs out, so that if your child doesn't have a concept of time or the passage of time, the red running out kind of shows that, which is a really nice visual for when things need to run out. You can also use a kitchen timer. When the timer goes off and it beeps or it rings, depending on the type of timer that you have, you can use your phone. You can time different things that they're doing. So if it's a preferred activity like the iPad, or I don't know, swinging on the swing, and then it's going to be time to go soon, or that it's the time is going to be coming up to get ready to leave, and the iPad needs to go away, or the shoes need to go on, we need to stop. You want to be able to transition your child with a lot less resistance, right? So giving a warning ahead of time is really, really important. Having, reinforcement ready to go, using the promise procedure. It's time to push pause on the iPad. Look what I have for you. I have a cookie for you. Push pause, then cookie. And again, it's a small piece of cookie. Usually children will take a reinforcer that's an edible reinforcer. It's something they really, really like. That usually can be strong enough, especially if it's a piece of chocolate or a dessert, something that your child really, really loves. That's usually almost equivalent to the iPad. So your child will want it and pick his hand up off the iPad and take it, and that's your chance to kind of take the iPad away, because he or she relinquished the iPad to reach for the edible item. Sometimes they have one hand on the iPad and one hand for the food. They'll get really sneaky and try to clench it, but you can be strategic with trying to get your child to transition from one activity to another, from one toy to another, by using your child's favorite things. Oh, look what I have. If your child's on the iPad forever and you bring out a new toy that your child hasn't seen in a while, or a novel toy that you just got, or something else that your child loves, like slime maybe, and you haven't played with it or taken it out in a while. That's a great time to take those kinds of things out to get your child to come off something that he's on for too long. Like, you want to reduce screen time, because the iPad can be super addictive. Okay, so let's see. Marissa asked, is it time for school yet? Not yet. We don't start school until September, after Labor Day. So I have a good just under 2 months left, which is great. I think I originally had 12 weeks vacation, and we've used almost 4 weeks so far. So I think we have about 8 weeks left, something like that. Let's see, to August. No, maybe 7 weeks left, 6 or 7 weeks left. The second week of September we go back. My son now tells me he cannot listen to me because he cannot hear. Uh-oh, Marissa. Yes, I'm ready for your questions, Marissa. Go ahead. I'm definitely going to say that if he's telling you he cannot hear you, he's being very sly and manipulative, which is kind of adorable, but obviously that it shows how smart he is, actually, and clever, to use language like that. But he, don't let him win with a sentence like that. You can say, oh, you can hear me just fine. You need to show me that you're listening, or you don't even really need to get all like that. You could just repeat the direction. So if he says, I can't hear you, repeat the direction, and, tell him what you have for him when he follows that direction. So if you're telling him to do something and he says, I can't hear you, that's something that he's going to try to do to get away with it. Don't let him get away with that statement, because then he'll stop using that statement if he has to keep going. Let me know what your questions are, Marissa. Your stream kind of stopped. And I don't see a new question from you, so I'll wait for you to ask me. But yeah, I mean, our kiddos can be super clever and manipulative. They can figure out ways to get away with not doing something. So, you know, some of our little guys who are super vocal and are really picking up on, little ways to manipulate the situation, are being very clever. I think Marissa even told me that, something about, right, your grandmother, or his grandmother has arthritis, and he sees that she's not really, like, her legs are sore, so he was trying to say that he had arthritis or something, so he didn't have to get up, throw something away. I remember that from a couple weeks ago. I feel like that was you. But yeah, I mean, he's super tuned in to what's happening around him, and he's trying to use it in his favor, but which is really, really clever. But you definitely want to make sure you're just repeating the direction. Tell him you can hear me just fine. I asked you to do this. This is what I have for you when it's finished, and, let's see how well he could start following those directions. Let's see. I think this is all you, right, Marissa? Are you all this? Yeah, that was you. That's so cute. Yes, that was you. Let's see. I don't know. How do I know if it is his autism or just a typical child behavior? Some examples are acting out in the store. Okay, tell me what he does in the store, why you think he's acting that way. Is he acting out because he wants something, he wants you to buy something, and you're not willing to buy it? Let me know what is happening there. And I know your little guy is young. I think, what is he, like 4, right? I think but we see a lot of that, typical behavior in 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds, that get very, this is my world, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And then when they can't, they're like, the world is falling apart on them, So yeah, I mean, when our kids get a little more tuned in, they want what they want when they want it, whether it's autistic or not, so you'll see some of that terrible twos behavior in an autistic child where, they have the gimmies, gimme, I want this, I want this, I want this. And it, you can't say yes to everything. You have to start saying no to things that are dangerous, things that are going to make them sick if they eat too much candy, whatever it is. Right. So we have to be strong and not give in, because that'll just be a recipe for disaster. And so, yeah, we have to be strategic, but it's definitely based on his specific behaviors. So let's see. He says he can't sit in the cart. He walks off and actually starts to run off with strangers. Oh, no. No. Well, that could be definitely part his autism, because he doesn't have stranger danger. He doesn't understand that it's dangerous to go off with strangers. He's not going to understand the brevity of that, like how severe that is. So that's definitely his autism coming through. Little kids can start to have a sense of, if they're taught, and he can be taught as well, that you're not supposed to go off with strangers. However, that doesn't mean he won't get impulsive and just go do it, because he's not going to really understand how dangerous it is not to do it. How dangerous it is to, to go off with strangers and to run around a store without you. So yeah, if he's not willing to sit in the cart, you cannot just let him go. He has to either sit in the cart, or he has to sit in a stroller, or he has to learn how to stand right next to you and stay with you. If he's not willing to stay with you, then, I would avoid taking him to the store until he can start to follow those directions. Have you ever tried, like, telling him he has to hold on to the cart with one hand, and then he can have something else in his other hand that he loves, like a lollipop, or I don't know, a stress toy or something he can squeeze or play with. I don't know if he's willing to stay holding on to the cart, and then you'll have an issue with him running around the store if he decides not to follow that direction. So that's tricky. I don't know if you've ever tried. He's a little bit bigger now. I'm assuming that he's not necessarily in the stroller anymore. Yes, my daughter can't go anywhere with her 3 years old. This person said he walks up to anyone and starts talking. Is this all you, Marissa? He walks up to anyone and starts talking to them about what is in their cart. Oh no. Oh boy. Walmart pickup is the best, LOL. Yeah, I would make it as convenient as possible for yourself with pickup orders from the supermarket, from Target, Walmart, whatever it is. Try that as much as you can so you can minimize your time in the store until he stops being so impulsive. But you can maybe come up with a social story for him where you're literally like making a little mini book, right in like a Google slideshow, and then print it out. This is how we behave in a store. We stay with mom. We have to stay with mom. We can even help mom shop. Give him a job to do, Marissa. Like have him help you pick out the food or the different items that you're shopping for. Make him look for the labels, on the shelf. That would really be good for him. That would help distract him. He'd start to feel like a leader, that he's, really big helper and he's doing a job for you. And, that might help distract him enough to, stay with you and follow your cart. If you give him a really important job to do and you make it really, make it a really big deal. Okay, we're gonna go to the store today, and you're gonna help mommy with the cart. Look, I made a list. I don't think he's reading yet, but he could be reading. If he is, you can write the words down, and he can practice reading them. If he's not reading yet, you can maybe draw pictures of the different things that you need, or even if you have coupon pictures, he can look at the coupon. Make it like a scavenger hunt. You can show him a picture on your phone. Okay, I need to find this one, and he has to look for it on the shelf. That's great matching, make it a game, make it a fun matching game, a good helping game for the supermarket or for the store. But it helps, it works better in the supermarket because those all different things that you look for and so many different things in the different aisles. So that might be helpful. When he sees people in a scooter, he acts as if they have arthritis and what's wrong with their legs. It's embarrassing. Oh, well, he doesn't know the right social language to say to somebody. He doesn't learn. He has to learn. We don't say that to people that we don't know. People might feel bad. They might feel sad if you're talking about their legs. So it's important not to talk about their. I think he's smart enough, and even though he's not that old yet, he's smart enough to start realizing what we should say and what we shouldn't say. And I think, making him, you can make them all yourself. You can also look online. Some of them are free social stories. Some of them you pay a couple dollars for. You might be able to find free printables. You do a little bit of digging and go into Google and put in social stories for the supermarket, social stories for the store, and they should be made up where it says, we're going to go to the store. I'm going to stay by the cart. I'm going to help mom shop. I'm not going to talk to strangers. It's not okay to go off with strangers. It's really important that I stay with mom. And when we're finished, mom is going to give me, and you fill in the blank, you fill in the big, reward that he's going to get for doing a great job in the store. Let's see. As you can tell, he is something else. LOL. He sure is. He's so interesting. Your stories are so interesting to me because he's very astute. He's really paying attention to things around him, and he's applying what he's learning to new situations. So he knows his grandmother has arthritis and has bad legs or bad knees. And now he's seeing other people maybe using a stroller, a scooter or whatever. And he's saying, maybe something's wrong with their legs, and he's applying what he's learning to somebody else. And that's a very, astute thing to do. So at his age, so that's pretty wild. And that just shows me though, that he's old enough to start really understanding some higher level concepts, that we say certain things to certain people and we don't say certain things to other people. Like when we see strangers, what do we do with strangers? We wave, and you could just remind him that. But when you go into the store, we can wave to strangers, we can smile, but we don't want to bother them. They're shopping, they're doing their thing. So, those can be just reminders for him so that he understands, what he should say, when he should say it, what he should do. Because social language, using social language is tricky, and they won't learn unless there's models for them, and you could show him, look, see, I'm waving to a stranger, but I'm not going over and asking her about her cart. I'm not asking her about her her shopping, and she's not asking me. We're just going to keep going, So you can just kind of like point all of those things out so that he starts to understand the norms for what you do in a store, and yeah, he's going to be himself, and he's going to want to, be curious. He's a very curious little guy. And he, wants to involve people in all these conversations. That's great. He's initiating language. That's amazing. And he's learning something new all the time. You can still teach him some of, the norms. I love that you're curious about that lady's cart and what she's shopping for, but let's focus on what we need to shop for today, because, we want to get to the park. And, if we do a great job with the shopping, we can get to the park sooner, but not if we stop and talk to all the strangers or whatever. You can use all different, little scenarios that will help him understand, why it's important to be quick today, or why it's important that we don't talk to strangers because it's not safe, things like that. So, stranger danger. I'm sure there's a social situation, social stories out there. Hopefully you can find a free one or make your own, about how, why we don't talk to strangers. We don't want strangers to take, well, you don't want to scare him, but, you kind of really need to say, you don't want a stranger to take you away from me. You don't want to get lost, because then you might not find me anymore and you won't be able to get home, things like that. Great. He's very social. Yeah. And he sounds it. That's really, really great. But now he has to learn some of the social norms. He has to learn, like what he should say and when he should say it, and be that model for him. Be that model of, how you have conversations with people, or how you choose not to have conversations with people. Show him, say, see, I'm not talking to all the strangers in the store. Why? Because I'm not here to talk to them. I'm here to go shopping. I'm here to get the things I need and to go home. It would take us so long in the store if we stopped and talked to everybody, right? That's why we don't do it. So that, you can just be honest with him and explain things to him. And he's definitely at the cleverness and the astuteness to start to really understand some of those social norms. So I would really try all of those things. So I have to run. I think Marissa, somebody keeps popping in and out. I'm not sure who it is. For now, I only have a conversation going on with Marissa. If there's any other questions anybody has when the live ends, you can jump onto the stream and ask your questions. I will get a notification and answer that for you. I do have a lot of other work I have to do, so I do have to jump off a little bit early. I just did like 35 minutes today. I actually came in a couple minutes late, so just about 30 minutes. But if you have any other questions, feel free to jump in and ask. And I will, be sure to answer you. I will be trying to go live every week on Thursdays at 5 versus Wednesdays at 5. So I'm just jumping it a day. Hope that doesn't inconvenience too many people. Let's see. Marissa said, he's so smart. That is why I don't know why he cannot cut and glue. Is that totally different? It is totally different, Marissa, because cutting and gluing is an OT skill. Those are occupational therapy skills. So he could have some poor fine motor with his hands. If you're seeing that he's having trouble cutting and gluing and writing, then, you definitely want to get him evaluated for occupational therapy, because that's motor planning and, using a pincer grasp and all these things. It's definitely very different than using language and understanding social situations. Those are completely different skills. So our kids typically have splinter skills. They're very, good in certain areas and they're deficient in others. And some are just globally delayed. They have a lot of deficiencies across the board, so every kiddo, comes with something a little different to the autistic spectrum. And, I love to dive deep with parents so we can really, see exactly what your kiddo is presenting with, and I can help it customize a plan for you and give you the strategies that will help you. I love the time. You're welcome, Marissa. I'm glad you get so much value out of the lives. I know you come on every time I'm live, so thank you so much for being a loyal fan. I appreciate it. And I will see all of you guys next week at the same time, Thursdays at 5 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time, for those of you who are not in the Eastern Standard Time zone. Oh, he is in OT. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. He is in OT. Great. So you can even chat with the OT to help getting him cutting and gluing a little bit more. I'm glad to see that he already has that service. It could take a while, to pick up some progress in that area, but I'm very happy to hear that that he already does get that to help him in that area. All right, great. Yay. Thanks, Marissa, and anyone else who jumped on. I appreciate when I get some interaction on the live. It definitely helps me not just ramble on my own and, be able to actually help people with specific questions or concerns. So happy to help. I'm Kathy Flynn with Autistic and Thriving. See you guys next week. Bye.